I saved $360 a month ever since I set up this one simple n8n workflow. And I'm going to show you exactly how you can do this too. And you might be thinking, $360 a month, that's a little steep, right? Well, that's exactly how much Notion AI is going to charge me. Because I have 15 members in my workspace, times 24, that's $360 a month. Now, I paid $200 a month to ChatGPT, OpenAI, and I love it, but I don't want another bill like this. So what I did, I love Notion and I love AI, and I would really like to be able to combine these two together. So that's exactly what I did using n8n. Now, let me show you exactly what this looks like before I show you how to do it. Now, don't get too confused with the database. Basically, what I did is I created AI-powered Notion where I can put any prompt in here and I'm able to crank out whatever outputs that I possibly want, which is really cool. So anything that I type in here is going to come out here exactly what I want. So for this particular one, I have chat with transcripts. For me, I like to repurpose my transcripts. I found that AI works really good with transcripts of videos, whether they are sermons, their webinars, their YouTube videos, interviews, podcast interviews, coaching calls, Zoom calls, whatever it is, whether they're transcripts that I've been teaching, or sometimes you are listening to a video, a tutorial like this, or I've invested in coaching or mentors or courses, and I want to take the transcript and I want to extract something. So let's say I want to take transcriptive frameworks. It's going to allow me to actually chat with these transcripts and extract some of the juicy goodness that I would want. And so here's an example. All I got to do is grab a transcript from one of my videos, and I can just copy here, and in this custom instructions, I'm just going to paste it. And this is my video. This is one thing that I do. And my workflow status, I'm going to change this over to ready to generate. And then in a few moments, that is going to say automation in progress right there. And that tells me that the automation is actually working on the back end. n8n is doing its thing. And really just within a few moments, I'm going to be able to get an exact answer where what this is doing is it's going to extract what are all the frameworks. Frameworks meaning a step-by-step process to get a repeated result. And I love to analyze my frameworks, because how many times do you record videos or you train and you want to extract a step-by-step process from something that you've taught? Maybe you expressed it in a really good way in that particular video, then you can take it really quickly and you can reuse those frameworks. There, it's already done. And it's in that output, just like so, and then the workflow status says done. Now we could look at what this comes up with. Here was a framework that I called God's Plan for Financial Breakthrough, where I'm teaching holistic health educators how to reach a financial breakthrough from a story in the Bible in 2 Kings chapter 4. It was really powerful. And let's see if it actually got it. In here I gave 8 steps that was, it spells the word God, God's plan. So there's eight letters in God's plan, and let's see if it got it. Step number 1, G, go seek a breakthrough. It's on point. Gave me some action items, key insights, how to apply it, a few references that I gave. Step 2, O in God's plan is obtain, submit to a mentor. That's exactly how I taught it. D is discover your talents, which is crafting an irresistible offer. S, systemize your solution. This is the automations, AI, crafting a signature speech, publishing a best-selling book, just having like automating your content creation. Now I'm actually pulling back the curtain. I'm showing you how I automate my content. I'm able to leverage this again and again. It's so easy, so fun. Step 5, P, pick your profitable partners. That's a P in God's plan. L, lovingly sell your talent. So now you're going to sell the offer you've created. A, acquit your debts. N, now sustain your breakthrough. That's literally it. The 8 steps of this hour-long training. It might have been an hour and 20 minutes that I did. It got everything out there. So if I didn't have that clearly written down or like extracted, now it is. So it's really cool how this is able to work in the background. Now, let me show you, now that you've seen what it looks like, I'm going to show you a little bit about how we build it. Now, in order to create this, these are the tools that I'm going to cover that really runs this. One, we're using Notion, obviously, and then n8n is the workflow automation tool that makes everything happen, and then we're using OpenRouter. I'm going to explain to you a little bit more about what OpenRouter does, and why this is so awesome and I love this. Anytime that I'm working with automations and I want to talk to a chat, AI chat, like whether it's Anthropic Claude or OpenAI's, like ChatGPT 5 just came out, or I want to talk to Gemini or DeepSeek or whatever it is, instead of having all these separate routers, I use one. It's this one unified API that is, I'm able to access basically every different model out there. We see Gemini, ChatGPT 5, Claude Sonnet 4, and instead of having to go and create an account for each one of these, get an API and plug it into the automation, now I can just have one API to access every single chat that I would ever desire, and it makes it really simple. And all you do is you sign up for the account, it's free to sign up, and then you buy credits. You just load, it's kind of like a prepaid Visa card where you load some money on there, and then you get one API, and that one API you can you could plug in those credentials to your n8n and you could access it again and again, which I thought was awesome. So let me explain to you the cost of how much this costs. So here, 3 months ago, I started using n8n. 3 months ago, I loaded $50 into my account, and as you can see, my balance is still $46.84. So in other words, I've literally only spent like $3.16 or in the last 3 months of having heavy usage. I've been using this for all of my automations and processing large transcripts, and not only me but my team has been using Notion AI, or using AI powered Notion automations for my content repurposing and content creation on several channels and platforms. And at the end of the day, it's only cost me a little over $3. It's like, it's mind blowing to me. That's about $1 a month to run this entire operation. So that's exciting. Now, mind you, I will say that I do have the Notion Plus, which everything I'm going to teach you, or I'm going to show you, I have done with the $10 a month plan, but you can do it on a free plan. You'll just have to modify a couple places, and I'll do my best to point out which areas you're going to have to modify. But you can do what I'm sharing on a free plan. But I would highly recommend $10 a month is nothing compared to the value that you get. It is amazing. If you're one person, then it's even easier to do. So I've been a Plus user of Notion for several years, and I don't regret it. One of the best things that I've paid for. So now, how does this work? This is what the workflow looks like. As you can see, it's fairly simple, and ChatGPT helped me to set up all of this, really, and I will walk you through step by step of how this actually works. What happens is, first I get a trigger from my webhook on Notion, and Notion fires, which you don't, webhook is, I believe, a premium Notion feature, so you do need Notion automation to set that up, but if you're going to do it on the free route, you can click in this plus over here, type in Notion, and there is one that you could check if there's other like triggers, like if you add, if a page gets added to a database, you can actually click a button and make it run. There's other ways that you could fire it, but the way that I've done it is on that plus plan, and I have a Notion automation with a webhook going over there, and this triggers my node. And then what I do here is, this is just getting the page that ran in my prompt database. So I have it filtered by everything really on all of my workflows, and this isn't the only workflow I have that's AI-powered Notion, but this is one of the most versatile because you could literally just create any page you want. And it's all based on this workflow status. So I have on here ready to generate, which is what I do that fires a workflow. And then I have in progress and done. Those are really the three that matter most to you. And those are really the only three that you need for now. And I did figure out how to create image capabilities. If you want me to record another video on how I did that, I could do that. I'm not talking about that today, but I've been able to use this database to generate images, and I'm gonna soon be able to add audio capabilities, and then image to image, text to image, text to audio, trained on my voice. It's gonna be so fun. But for now, we're talking about text to text, which is ready to generate. Those three, that's what you have. And what this does is it basically checks this get matching Notion pages. I have it on all of my workflows and it checks this database to make sure that it's basically going to say that it's ready to generate. As long as it's ready to generate, then it's going to fire, and that will be one item. And then the next node, it changes the status to in progress. And I found that I need this. The reason why I created this is because if I didn't, every time I hit test, it's going to refire the same one again and again. So it was sending like multiple like automations through this same request. But by changing the status instantly, as you saw, it changes to in progress. Then it stops firing. So it's only going to do it one time. That was a really quick tip that I figured out, and I'm glad I did. And then this is a switch node. This switch checks the status that on that page where you can see there's a workflow status, and if you want to search for it, you just click that and hit workflow. There it is, workflow status. So I go workflow status and not on the webhook, on get matching right here. Go to workflow status and you just drag that over, and I just use the same one for every one. And the reason why I have 3 on here is because I have the ability to use text to image, and image to image is coming soon. So, but for you, you'll just have text to text, and that's fine too. If you want to be able to add images and audio in the future, or even video, then I would keep this switch node, and you could just have it there for in the future. For now, we're going down this path, and this goes down to my image, so I took it off screen so you don't get distracted by it. Now, this node is really cool. This is called a simple, I believe it's called a simple LLM, basic LLM chain in n8n. And the way that it works is you basically set that up, and then you pick a model, and for that model, I use Open Router. And as I mentioned before, Open Router gives me one API that I could access all of them that I could possibly desire, which is amazing. And here you could access whatever models that you want. I asked ChatGPT AI on the wall, which is the cheapest of them all, and I was looking at different options, and I asked for give me a table breakdown, and then I was comparing like OpenAI and Google, and we see there's DeepSeek. There's several of them that were really cheap, and just for me, what I found worked pretty great was the DeepSeek. I didn't use R1, but I do have a DeepSeek that was some of the cheapest, and I compared them, and just my conclusion was that I settled upon having DeepSeek Chat, and that is That's one of the cheapest that I found, and it's been good. I love the quality that it comes out. It's able to accomplish whatever I've thrown at it. So basically all my automation workflows go through DeepSeek Chat, that exact one right there. And then once you have it selected, then you can go up here, and I have the prompt generated here. I'll show you how you could have this automatically set up so that it takes the prompt and the transcript and then sets out some beautiful things. As you can see, here's my prompt, and then here's my transcript, just with these two properties that are actually on Notion. You saw I pasted the transcript here, and then I have this AI prompt generator, which will actually it'll create the prompts based on some previous properties that I have, which I can go into in a moment. So that is how I set up this basic LLM chain node, and I use this for pretty much everything, unless I need to do tool calling with agents, but that's more advanced somewhere else. This is just a basic LLM prompt, and also another thing that you may not have noticed, but on my AI output, there's no em dashes that are just awkwardly placed inside of the text. And you might say, well, what's an em dash? Why does it matter? Em dash is where they have these random, like these double lines here in the most it's just loaded with it all over the place. And one of the clearest ways to tell if it's AI generated or not is that it's going to have em dashes all throughout the text, and it's just so intense. Like, there's even to a point where there's been memes on Facebook and online where people are chatting, they're like, remove the em dashes, never use em dashes under any circumstances. And I've tried prompts variations like that, but AI will almost like a cheeky respond with like 7 em dashes in a 5-sentence sentence like response, and it's like, okay, sure, I'll stop using it, and it's loaded with them. It's just like something about how it's programmed. AI refuses to stop using em dashes, and that's why the rise of them has been skyrocketing. So a lot of people choose, rather, whenever producing content from or wanting to post it from AI, to delete all the em dashes, and rather than going through the output and then going through manually and deleting every single thing, I've actually figured out how to remove them entirely, which is super fun. And I've never had an issue with it since. And it's with this markdown. I have a code node here that you don't have to get confused about what's going on here. You can literally just copy and paste the code. In fact, I will give it to you. I'm going to provide you an implementation guide that you could just copy and paste whatever code that I use. You could put it into your code node, and then you could just add here, and you type in code, and you just click that and replace what I give you with this. So there'll be an implementation guide document that you can go through, and you'll have one here. So what this does is this removes Markdown. Markdown is the language that Notion uses, and really a lot of LLMs use, and they have a lot of like asterisks and hashtags for headers, and they've got a like code that formats the content. I just wanted to remove it to plain text, and because you can't really get plain text from AI, or at least I don't know how to, I've got this code node that just removes all Markdown. I had ChatGPT write it up for me, went back and forth a bit for it, so you don't have to. And then now for every workflow I ever do, I really just I copy and paste this into whatever workflow whenever I'm getting AI to ChatGPT, or if I want to copy and paste to Facebook or social media or somewhere else. I don't want a bunch of asterisks or stars and pound signs or number signs. I don't want a bunch of code Markdown in there, so I just have it all removed. And then this one right here, this is what replaces the em dashes with a comma and then a space. Most of the places where AI overly uses en dashes, you could just put a comma and a space there, and that works well. It's a lot better than screaming, hey, this is AI generated. And that's what I did there. And then now we've got this output, and it's rather long. Notion API has this thing where they don't allow you to actually update, or they don't allow you to put text in a property that's more than 2,000 characters long. So if it's over 2,000 characters, you have to basically chunk it down in order for it to fit. So the reason why I don't have an update Notion node like I normally would is because Notion requires you to chunk it into less than 2,000 character fonts, and then it could actually like piece it all together and it looks fine. So that's what this code node is all about. This is just meeting the requirements for Notion API, which I went to Notion API and like, I don't know code. I don't actually understand what is going on here, but what I did is I went to I went to Notion and I asked for what the requirements were. I copied the API document, pasted it into ChatGPT and said, give me a code that fulfills these demands, and here's a text. So the most important part is this item is text that is generated from here. This is the output that it comes from, as you can see text right there. So this is where it gets it from, where it gets all that output. And then as you can see, it breaks this down into like little 2,000 character chunks, or less than 2,000 characters. And there's a bunch of, oh, I guess there's 3 of them. No. Oh well. So there's 3 here, so which makes it convenient. But that's all that this is doing. And I will give you this code too, and you will have this in the implementation guide so that you can just copy and paste it. And really, you want to save this. Save this if you're using Notion and ChatGPT or AI and n8n at all. This is going to be a huge time saver right here, because anytime you want to put large text onto a Notion property, always use that. But now that we have this long list of different texts, it's not just one file that has everything. Now we can't use an update node because it doesn't accept it. So we have to use a HTTP request node, and we can't just type in Notion and use one of these pre-built ones. We have to use a more custom HTTP request. And in here, the way I have it set up is you could copy this, and you get this ID from the very beginning where it says get matching pages, and you just drag and drop it there, and that's how I got that, and that's always going to dynamically populate. I like to store my credentials inside the predefined credential types. That makes it a lot easier. And then you do need to have a internal integration with Notion, and I could record another video on how to set that up if you want me to. Just let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments, because I'm new to creating tutorials and I want to do more of them, and I plan on it, but I want to know what would you find most helpful. Anything in this video that you'd like me to go into more detail, I'm happy to do that on a future video. Just let me know. And then Notion required these headers to be here, so you could like copy and paste those. And then the JSON body, this is what's pretty much the most important part. So I'll show you what that looks like. When putting into this body, we have to toggle body on, and then body type is JSON, and then specify not using fields but using JSON, and that way we could put this, we could reference this right here, which JSON just means it's coming from the last node, and then Notion text means it's coming from this one right here. So as you can see, it pasted in right there. I could give you this code too. In fact, well, I wish I could make it even easier for you, but I think I will. I'm going to copy this code and I will include it in your implementation guides so that you can at least have this node to make it easier for you. I hope I don't regret this later. I don't think that it has something that is private, but sometimes I don't fully understand what is private or what's not. So that's why I'm hesitant to give my templates. I could show you how it's laid out, but I can't really give it to you. But I will give you this node, so because this is probably the most complex thing that you have to set up, and you could just copy and paste the code that I give you into here. In fact, I could probably show you that part. No, I'm not going to show you that, but just add the AI output, and what this is doing basically is it's going to go to a Notion property right here that says AI output, and it's going to insert that rich text, which is all the stuff down below, which is cool. And what that looks like on this prompt database is right here. This is simply a text property, that's all it is, and then it just loads it all right there. And then the workflow is almost done. From here, the last thing I do is I update the status. So going back to resource database page, update, the ID is again taken just from this original page right here. I just drag and drop it there, so it's always updating. And then I just change the workflow status to done. That's the only purpose of this node. And it just lets me know as a user, it kind of gives like a front-end user experience to say done, that it's got the output there. So you got to saw that live, and there you have it. That's literally it, and it works really well. I use this on a daily basis. My team's able to use it. Now you can set it up just so that you can have AI in your Notion. And what I will do is what I suggest is stay tuned to some of my videos. I'm going to give you some more advanced AI API nodes that you could copy and paste or save in your arsenal, because some of these things took me a while to figure out, but I'm going to give it to you so that you don't have to go through what I went through to learn that. And then you've got that. So now let me explain to you how the prompt database is set up. So now that you have the n8n, in order for this to run on the back end, what you're going to want to do is, first of all, why do I even have a prompt database? If you've ever, the deeper you go into AI, the more you find that some of these prompts are amazing, and you get a result, you're like, this is so good, I can't believe this is happening, what a time to be alive. And then you go on, and then your ChatGPT gets loaded with a bunch of chats, a bunch of conversations, and you lose it. And you're like, where did it go? So the next time you kind of start from scratch, or the next time you try to figure out what else could you share, but it gets distracting, or you lose things, or you don't quite get the same quality of the response. So what I found, what's really powerful, is to systemize the prompts that I use. So instead of always starting from scratch, I'm able to find a format. I have a framework for structuring my prompts to get consistent results. And in order to save it, I have a prompt database. It's an archive. It's my list of being able to keep track of all of my best favorite prompts that runs my entire business, where we're able to generate 6 figures in our business through these prompts. So that is something that has been huge for me in the automations. And then now that I've structured my prompts on a Notion database of all places, it makes it very easy to automate other portions of my content creation, or everything. All of my AI powered automations are ran from this database. So what I'm sharing with you is just the overview, the foundation, scratching the surface, but I'm going to record some other videos. And if you see my screen, you see something, you're like, what's going on there? Can you tell me a little more about that? Leave it in the comments, and I may record a video explaining more about what's going on there. So what happens is, by being able to create this prompt database, keeps track of everything very easily. So I have a framework for writing stellar prompts. In my research for prompt engineering, I found that what works really well is when you structure your response in a specific way. And I put together a framework that I call the Ramble framework, because one of the things that I found that really helped me a lot is just the ability to just hit Windows H, for instance, instead of typing my prompts, I like to speak my prompts. So on a PC, I could hit Windows H, and this guy pops up, and I will say, you are an expert at understanding prompt engineering, and I want you to create for me a prompt that's going to transform a video transcript, educational piece, into a step-by-step framework. And that right there is by being able to ramble or speak the prompts rather than type it out, it takes a lot less time. You can get more context, and I get better quality responses that way. So being able to, instead of like overthinking the prompt or treating it like it's a Google search, like and by sharing little keywords like transcripts, prompt, transcript to framework prompt. You don't want to give it keywords. You want to actually give it descriptions of what you're looking for. So these are the things. Ramble, not only can you ramble, but if you structure your rambles, your voice to text, dictation, with these areas, you're going to do really good. You don't need all of them, but any of them makes a difference. Role. When you define what the AI is an expert in, or an assistant, or has specialized knowledge in, who has years of experience as a consultant, who specializes in prompt engineering, or specializes in Notion, or specializes in whatever like marketing, digital marketing, content marketing, YouTube marketing. This is going to be change drastically how it responds, because it's a fun exercise. If you ask AI to solve a problem as like a world-class Van Gogh painting artist versus a civil engineer, and you ask, say, like, pretend you are a civil engineer, and then you ask it to solve a problem, then you ask the old school like painting artist how to solve the same problem, you will see very quickly how differently they go to solve the problem, and AI will really try to filter through that lens of how it would solve the problem. It's really powerful. So give it a role, give it an action, clearly state what you want it to do. You want it to write, summarize, convert a transcript, and then the mode, like the style, the tone, the approach. So is it going to be funny? Is it going to be, like for me, I like absurd metaphors. I like deadpan humor, so I like to throw that in there. I like to share, speak like you're talking to a friend. Just express the mode that you want it to be. Like, what kind of hat is it wearing? Like, is it the CEO hat? Is it professional? Is it the fatherly hat? Is it the mentor? Inspirational? Is it educational? Is it systematic? Just concise? Is it step by step? Just express the mode that you want, and give it background. Background is really powerful. Context. There's a lot of talk about prompt engineering, but what most people are talking about now is context engineering, which is why I love transcripts, because the transcripts are able to provide a massive amount of context on how I speak and what I say that a few things are able to do. So give it some context. And then L is limitations. These are where you add constraints, rules, criteria. This is where maybe there's a word count, maybe there's topics you don't want it to cover, or if you want it to be specific, like the structure, or what you want it to pull out from the transcripts, whatever it is. Having rules and instructions are really powerful. Words that start with always start with a verb, or never use em dashes, which is not going to listen to that one, but you could say always speak like you're talking to a friend. And then the E is expected output. If you could describe what the final format is going to be, whether it's an essay, a list, an email, share where you're going to post it. This is going to be posted on YouTube as a script, or this is going to be a YouTube description, or you're going to say this is going to be a structured document. That makes a big difference. So what I've done is I basically took all the best practices of prompt engineering and I put it in one database on Notion, and that's how I structured my whole prompt database, and this is how it works. So basically, if I start from the beginning, these are the properties that I have that makes this fit together really well. Number one, I have a title, and that's just for me to logically remember what it is, how it's titled, and one page, one prompt. And I have this little heart, which is favorites, and all this really is a checkbox property, and I just change the icon by clicking here, and I type in heart, and you can actually change the icon, which is convenient, and I check it off when it's my favorite, and it goes to the top, and I like them a lot. So it just helps me to differentiate easy access ones, because as you can see, I got 30 prompts about how to repurpose transcripts to another format. And these are the 5 that I'm either currently working on right now or just developing over time. And then here is notes. Notes are cool because this doesn't go into the prompt. This is just for me to kind of describe what I want. A lot of times I will ramble, or I'll dictate Windows H, and I'll just describe what I'm looking for in a particular prompt. Sometimes I'll make little notes here. I'll put it into Prompt Engineer, which is a custom GPT on ChatGPT, and it's right here. So this thing is free to use, and I love it. I actually use this for running basically all of my prompts, and you could find this. Actually, I'll send you a link. I'll give you a link to this. I'll include it in the implementation guide, and this Prompt Engineer is really cool. It's just trained on some of the best prompts. You can give it a prompt that you have, and it'll improve it. You build one from scratch. I just ramble what I want it to do, and it will work a lot. So that's convenient, and that's basically what I use this for, is just a description personally for what I want, little notes that I want to maintain or keep, and then the role. So here's a role where I'm able to say, you are a Facebook thread post engineer who specializes in analyzing transcripts and transforming them into high engagement Facebook thread posts. Your expertise lies in extracting key insights, structuring them as attention grabbing hooks under 30 characters. See, that's that is the L in ramble, the limitation. So you want to be specific of how many characters, right? And it's 130 on Facebook. So that's a role, basically just telling it what kind of role that I want to give it, and then the task is convert a given transcript into Facebook thread post, and it's simple. Definition I've been using less and less, but sometimes I use that. The structured output, you could see it's going to be a numbered list, a structured bulletin. I found like these are the main kind of outputs that they get. And this is the E in ramble, which is all about expected output. And I made this a select property because it simplifies, where I could just pick from a drop down and use that, which you could also take a screenshot, or I can give you a screenshot and I'll include it in the members, in the implementation guide. And you could see which ones I have. They've been pretty good. And as you can see, I don't have it for every single one. This is actually what I'm working on currently, but all of these are optional. Many of them, the more that you add, the better quality you'll get. But at the end of the day, what makes a good prompt is just an AI output that you're satisfied with. If you're happy with the results, then you're good. You don't need to overcomplicate it. I just have this structure because I realize these are the things that AI desires to have, and so I'm going to use them until I get the result that I want. When I get the result that I want, then I'm good. Then I'll get rinse and repeat results, and I'll move on. So that's helpful. And then this AI output formula, this is just where I describe what I want it to look like. So here is a naming conventions as a title. Here's the hook post that's under less than or equal to 130 characters. Opening hook. I want a comment in a listicle in this format, call to comments, and then that's how that is ran. And then I have these 5 output examples. The reason why I have 5 is because I was watching a video that was talking about prompt engineering, or the benchmarks and how they test all these AIs, and they call this like 5-drop 5-drop prompt. And what that basically means is the way that they run a lot of these benchmarks is they give the AI, not only do they request what they want from the AI, but they give examples of what the finished product would be like. And if there's 1 drop, then you're not really giving examples. If there's, the more examples that you give, AI tends to get much better quality. Like if you want better hooks from AI, give them examples of solid hooks that they could use. And that's where I would put here. And I don't always use it, but the time I've noticed that when there's longer outputs that I want, it tends to get more confused. But when there's shorter output examples, then I'll definitely do that. Like for this one here, I've got these different types of questions that I want. So I have used this, but for thread posts, I don't want to do that. But that's what this is for. I have 5 different outputs. It's all it is it's a simple text property, and I will use them when necessary. And how do you define if it's necessary? If I'm not happy with the output and I need some more instructions, that's when I'll do it. Now I have the rules and AI instructions. This is the ramble, which is the limitations and rules. This is where it's really powerful. This is really where the bulk of the instructions go. And when I'm tweaking, pretty much I set the other stuff once. The role is very important. The output format is very important. This is where the bulk of my back and forth goes until I'm happy with the result. And here is where I go into more detail on the different sections I want. Whatever output I want, here's a naming convention. I'm giving rules of what that looks like. Here's the hook post. This is where I want it to be described, and I have them separated by these little bullets here, and this is just showing that it's under the same category. And then opening hook, I have a few rules here, and then the comment listicle, this is like a step-by-step structure. And then here's the mode, the tone. I want it to be conversational, deadpan humor, absurd metaphors, make it relatable, and slightly urgent. So that's my mode, that's my tone, that's my brand voice of how I like to speak. So that's where I put that here. And then what's really cool, the thing that makes this all possible, is you might be wondering, okay, so we got these properties and they have portions of the prompt, but how do we put it all together? And that, my friend, is what this prompt generator does. This is so cool. This is actually a formula property, as you can see here. This is a formula, and what it does is it basically puts it together. So if I wrap this, we can see the whole formula. Boom. So now it's saying, what this does is it pieces together all the properties from before. I think I need to zoom out a little bit. And I will give this to you in your implementation guide, where you could just copy and paste. For this to work, you have to use the exact same name of every property in my database that I've shown you here. Use the exact same names, and what this will do is it's basically saying, here's a role, here's a task, there's a title, and then this has some words. It's like, your task is to follow these rules. And then I have the AI rules. This is referencing dynamically what we just put in the rules AI instructions property, the bullet list that I showed you. And then here's the output formula, or the output format, which is the drop-down select property, and the formula, which is the text property that goes into more detail about what that formula looks like. Here's the example outputs, number 1, 2, 3, 4, and it really just has, like, it's labeled in text, and then it has the output. And then it ends with, these custom instructions are provided for you to consider when performing this task. And that is, this is actually the first formula that I ever wrote, which is, I'm proud of it. I'm happy, because formulas were going way over my head and I didn't understand this stuff, but AI was helping me to understand the basics. I'm like, hey, I could do that. So what this does is it basically puts together everything here, where it has the role, it has the task, your task is, and then it has these rules. Your task is to follow these rules, and then it has a bullet list of what it would go through. And then once it goes through it, and it looks like it goes further, it's even longer than that. So let me scroll up a bit. Is that what I want? Yeah, expand. So then once it goes through here, it says these are custom instructions are provided for you. And that's why on n8n, what this is pulling up, what actually goes in this AI node is exactly that. Here's the AI prompt generator, which is the formula property that I shared with you. And this says all that formula that we put together has all the prompts right the way that you would want it. And then this has custom instructions property, which that is the property here where I actually put, I'm gonna unwrap this so it doesn't take up so much space. And I'll probably have to refresh as well, but now this is where I put the transcripts. So you can put whatever you want, and I know that this is where anything that needs to change or tweak per use, it goes in here. So if I have like context about the video, context about how I want it, or more details, that's not going to be in every time that it's being used. So it's not a rule. These rules don't change. These are the same for every single time that it gets ran, but this is different. This changes, and it depends on what it is, what I'm looking for at this moment. That's how I use this custom instructions. That's why we have it separated, because this doesn't change. This AI prompt generator is awesome, which also means anytime that you update on Notion, this is like the power of it. Anytime you update the prompt anywhere else, this automatically gets updated. And because every time that Notion n8n runs, it's actually pulling this AI prompt generator formula property. It's pulling it right here. So the moment that it gets this matching Notion page, it's going to pull up the most up-to-date AI prompt generator right here. And so it's automatically putting together all the best practices of prompt engineering for you, which I find amazing. So literally every time that you're testing this, all you got to do is you can go to Notion and tweak some of your rules, and you could say tweak, and then just go to generate text, ready to generate, and then it'll fire, it'll run with all the latest instructions. So you don't have to actually, and if you want to update it, if your automation is not as great as you would like it to be, you don't have to go into the back end, into Notion, into n8n, into the workflow, find the exact node, go over here, and before, what I used to have to do is like go type the instructions. Most people put their instructions right here. I get mine from my prompt database because my prompt database is a lot easier to update. My team is able to now be involved in improving the prompts to their liking to be able to solve their problems. And I made this to where anyone on my team is able to create a prompt to make their life easier for something that they would use regularly. And it's so fast to test and iterate and tweak. So there's more leverage there, more automation. So I think that feature alone is this is one of my favorite parts about this. So that's pretty much, I believe that's all that you would need in order to make that work. Once you have this prompt database set up, then you're good to go. And then you would have to create the prompt database first. And I did give you the formula for this to make your life easier. And then another, I think this is more of a nice quality of life type of thing. It's not really necessary, but I have this satisfaction scale, which is a relation property, as you can see right here. This means that it relates to another database on Notion. And I created this 1 to 10 scale because I like to ask myself, like, on a scale from 1 to 10, how satisfied am I with this prompt? I have my team say, how satisfied are you with the results, the outcomes? Because again, what is a good prompt? A good prompt is one that you're satisfied with the output. So how do you know if you're satisfied? It's kind of hard to quantify or measure. So what we've done is we've been able to measure these results by a 1 to 10 scale. And what this is a really simple database, this 1 to 10 scale stars. We use this all throughout Notion. And the reason why is because, yeah, you can create a select property, but this select property does not repeat throughout all the when you go this actually takes a lot of effort to create these stars right here. I like it because they look nice, and it took a while to do this, and I did it in like 2 select properties. I'm like, I do not want to keep doing this over and over. And then I learned that you can actually create one database and use a database as a select property. And I'm like, wow, this is mind-blowing. So I just created this one database, and I could give you these, and these are all pages in the database, and I'll give you one. I don't think I'm going to give you all of them, but I'll give you this so you can copy and paste, at least so you have the stars. I don't remember how I got them. I think I Googled these, but you can just see how many stars that there are. And if you wanted to, you could duplicate this or like recreate it. And then what I've done, I reference this all throughout my Notion workspace. All you have to do is create a relation property, and in that relation property, you just make it where the limit is 1 page. So now it's select property. If you hate no limit, that's more like a multi-select where you could select multiple, but it's either 1 to 10 stars. It's not a 7 and 8. It's 1. So I do 1 page, and the two-way relation is off. If you turn that on, then there's going to be another property on this right here that you don't want. So every time that I reference this, it's always a one-way relation. I always have it off right here, so it's one way, and that just makes it cleaner, so I don't need properties over there. It's literally just created to be a select property, and I mean, this is just cool, and it's easy to use, and that's how I keep track of how satisfied I am with the prompts that I have. So as you can see, there's a lot of potential with chatting with transcripts. I even got some that I could chat with some of my JSON, and I'm looking forward to working out some of these. They're going to help me with some of my tutorials and automate some of this. But this is how I've been able to save effectively literally $360 a month every month since I set up this automation. This automation has been powerful. I feel like n8n and really AI automations has been saving so much time. For every 1 hour I put in, I get like 10 hours back. This automation alone, I know, has saved us hundreds of hours, and I'm not exaggerating. The amount of effort and time and energy that my team and I, multiplied by each member, are no longer having to do a lot of those manual tasks that we were. It's like the sky is the limit. So it's really powerful to have this available. And I want to share too, if any part of this was confusing, or if any of it you want to get better at, or maybe some of the technical support you want some guidance, I learned about n8n from this awesome community that exists on School. And this is where I learned a lot of the AI stuff that I know. And here, this is AI Foundations. I'm a paid member of it. I love it. I joined it probably like 2 months ago, and it's because of this guy right here, Drake. Sorry, Carter's his brother. Drake and Carter are awesome people who are here to teach you the foundations of AI. They keep it very simple. They teach you both the basics and the advanced. They've got courses to give you a crash course, whether it's prompt engineering, n8n. They have these tech calls where if you want help with any of the technical setup of these things, whenever I get stuck, I get on here, and I've never came where they weren't able to answer my question to really satisfactory. And they're so generous. It's like a mastermind where there's like 5 or 8 different brilliant people that are all coming here to solve problems for you. And we get to learn about how to automate other portions, get ideas from each other. It is incredible, the insights that I get from here. So if you want to join this, I encourage you to click the link in my description. I'm going to give you an affiliate link. I will get paid for this for no extra cost to you. But when you buy through my affiliate link to join the School community, I'm in it, they're in it. It's an awesome thing. It'll help you with tech support. I'm going to give you some more prompts. I'm going to give you access to some of my prompt database where you could see what are the prompts that I use to run my business. while I'm helping holistic health educators to monetize their knowledge online. I do a lot of content creation. You'll be able to see what I have, and that's going to be a bonus that I'll give you only to those who, when you join my affiliate link. And I only recommend this because it's been extremely powerful for me. I really enjoy the community. The people are very easy to get along with, and if you've wanted to learn, you wanted to get started, or it's been daunting, it's so much easier when you could do it together, when you could see people thriving, and the questions that they're getting stuck on, you're getting answers to, questions you didn't even know that you had. It really makes a big difference. I couldn't recommend this enough, but other than that, I'm going to create more tutorials, so subscribe to my YouTube channel as I'm going to bring out some more. If there's anything in the video that you wanted to know more about, I could leave it in the comments. You can leave it in the in a future video, and I will give you a link to the implementation guide in the description so that you can follow along, copy and paste some of those resources, I promise you. But until next time, I look forward to seeing you, and my goal on this channel is to create AI tutorials so simple that your grandma can follow, and I will be aiming to do that each time as we record. But I look forward to seeing you in a future video. Have a good day, friends, and God bless.